Hey, welcome back to the Pike Homestead. My name is Adam. Today I'm going to be working on finally finishing closing up our chicken run, our massive chicken run here, and getting it all closed up and getting the chickens out and contained rather than running all over the place and getting into places where we don't necessarily want them and, having to chase them back into the pen at night from the backside of the barn when they're all in the goat area and the pig pen. So anyway, I'm really excited to get this done. I'm hoping it's going to go pretty quick. So if you remember from yesterday, or our last video, it was yesterday for me, I don't know when this is going to be posted, I had finished moving all our mobile panels into their final locations. And so this one here, I'm just going to get some boards across to support our chicken mesh. So we've got lengths of chicken mesh. It is just 3 foot height, so which is fine. I don't mind that. So every 3 feet, I'm gonna have a board to kind of connect that to, and yeah, and we'll get that put in, and then this section here will be closed up. I'm hoping this fence here or this gate here will be good enough. It might not, so I might just put some chicken mesh kind of up the top of it there. Just leave it kind of hanging a few inches above or whatever, just to stop them from jumping up on the top bar here, because that's what they will do. They'll jump if they have somewhere to perch at. They can jump that high and get up there, and then they'll be free. So I don't necessarily want that, so I might just put like a 2 foot of chicken mesh to go from the bottom 2 bars of the gate here. So bottom, like that bar, and then the top bar, and just wire it into that, and then leave it kind of sitting up about a foot or so above the gate. That way the gate is still functional, but the chickens can't perch on anything to get over it. So I'm hoping that will work. If not, then, well, then I'll have a little bit more work to do on this side, but that's okay. Anyway, so I'll get this done, and then on the far side over here, I've got to put up a gate so that we can be able to access it and, chase chickens in at night and everything, where they only have one place to run to. So that's what I'm going to be working on. Hopefully I can get that all done up today, get it finally finished so we can move on to our next project that desperately needs doing, and just keep rolling along here while we can. So anyway, I hope you enjoy it. If there's anything you see that I could be doing better, comment down below, let me know. And I'm just going to keep walking and working here and getting it all put together. boys are playing. So interesting thing with the goats is you can definitely tell when the girls are cycling by the smell of the boy. So Cowboy was definitely fragrant when he first got here and everything, and with the girls and everything, like he was absolutely interested in them as soon as he got here. So it just kind of happened, you know, of course, with both Daisy and Sally. They'd never been bred. Well, I mean, Sally had, because Duke and Daisy are hers. But then Daisy and Sally, they hadn't been with any boys at all in all the time that they've been with us and with their previous owner. So, you know, as soon as he got here, you could smell him. And it's not a bad, like, it's a musk. It's not necessarily a bad smell, but you know, so we think he's been successful with both of the girls now. I mean, with Daisy right away, and then Sally, it was a couple of weeks later and he was still smelling that way, and she was showing the signs, wagging the tail and everything, and, well, I mean, running away from him a lot, but still, you know, the musk was in the air. And this last week it's kind of cleared up, so we think he got the business done. So hopefully sometime in October we'll be seeing some kids, so that would be awesome. And then not sure exactly how long, I think it's about 3 months or whatever, the kids really need the mums, and then you can start milking them for yourself. And so, yay, we just got to get there. So, you know, make sure like and subscribe down below so you can be here to see that. Back to the chores here. So I've got the two stanchions up that I can connect my boards to and start tacking some mesh up. So I'm gonna grab some chicken mesh and see about where I need to put the next board. I got this nice big thick board at the bottom. There's some gaps under there, but we're not really worried about predators so much because the girls are only going to be out during the day, and we haven't had any major predation at all in the couple of summers that we've been here with them now. So, you know, like there's some smaller hunting hawks, but, you know, few and far between are we seeing eagles and everything. Now, that said, as we grow our laying flock, that doesn't mean that they're not going to, you know, be drawn to here. But as far as foxes and coyotes and everything like that, they don't tend to come around too much. Part of that is because of the dogs, but the dogs are still pretty much stuck around the house with their wireless dog fence, because we just haven't got it working and extended out here. The way I was doing it was breaking it too many times, I guess, and so we've still got to work on getting that up and running. But if they make enough noise for anything around here that they stay away, and then we've got the cows and calves out in the rest of the pasture, and the goats right here. So, you know, like, we lost the one mama hen and a couple of chicks last year, and that is it. So we're not too worried about it, and most of this fence will keep most predators out for the daytime, we hope. And if we see that change, then we'll take more extreme measures. But I think, you know, the fencing and everything is hard enough and everything that they're not going to be able to get through. And the girls aren't going to be out at night when the coyotes and stuff are around anyway. So anyway, back to the work. Hey, so I got this finished. It was yesterday afternoon, and so I didn't live up to my goal of getting it done yesterday. But I've only got one more section I really need to close up. So this is done. It's just fenced over. It's enough to hold chickens in, and that's pretty much the goal. So next now, I'm getting stuff prepped to close up that. So what I want to do is I kind of want to, like, I think I've talked about it in earlier videos when we're talking about doing all this, you know, months ago, so what we had here originally was, it was a 10-12 foot cattle gate that closed up this down to the old wire fence over here. And this wooden structure here was all braced. It was a triangle, so it was braced on both sides to give that gate support for dealing with cows. Now chickens, they're not going to pressure it that much. Cows aren't going to have direct access to it. So I've taken off half of the supports here, and I'm going to use them to kind of close up the gaps with the rest of it and give a bit of a windbreak right near the door for the chickens, as well as kind of a snow break for snowdrifts in the winter, so we can get them out here a little bit more through the winter months, and at least give them access to a place where they can walk around without it being all on snow, and give them access to scritching on dirt and whatever grass may still be alive under there. So I'm gonna kind of seal that up, and then I'm gonna put up the stanchion here up along this post, and then connect it over here to build in a gate that I can get through. And I haven't measured, but I'm pretty sure it's wide enough for for at least the lawn tractor to get through if we need to mow stuff down for the chickens. Because again, grass like this is a little too long for them to eat. So anyway, that's what I'm going to get working on here. I've got the boards all ready. I've spent the morning ripping out all the nails of the stuff that I pried off on this side so that I can use it again on that side. Our material input on this build so far is, like, as far as new material so far, has just been that bit of chicken mesh I used the other day. So I'm going to be using more of that here when I build the gate. But all the other materials, even the nails I'm using, is stuff we had here on the farm already that was just left over. So I'm happy with that. It's just been, having the time and getting the time. So, our material cost here isn't that huge. It's all stuff we had, and the vast majority of stuff is stuff that was on the farm when we bought it. So I haven't put in a lot in, like, I've put in a few screws and stuff that, again, I had on hand from other projects. So I'm extremely happy with how that's been going, but my pace hasn't been ideal. But anyway, we're coming to the end stretch here. This is the last bit I've got to do. Like, I might put some some mesh up on that gate over into the pig pen there, because I think the chickens will be trying to fly over it once they realize they can't get out all their normal holes. But that's pretty much it, and then I can let them out and have them actually contained in their run for once, which will make it just vastly simpler as far as getting them in each night. Because right now I generally have anywhere from 5 to 10 of them that go in the back door of the barn from the goat and pig pen at the back of the barn there, and they'll be sitting there in the goat and pig areas outside of the chicken pen. So I have to, we have to close them in so they don't run back out the door, as well as chase them in while keeping the goats out, which is sometimes hard when you've got a goat buck who's always hungry because he's been busy doing his duty with the ladies. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna get this done, and then all of this will be chicken run, and then we can just continue growing our flock. All right, so here we are on another day. This is now 3 days in a row where I said I want to get this done by the end of the day, and I failed to do so. There's a number of reasons for that, partially because I keep finding more and more little things that I want to take care of as I work on this. And another is that, Carolina and I are both under a fair amount of stress right now. We're worried. She's looking for a new job, and I'm starting to look for a job myself, just because that's what we're going to need to do to make this work here if we're going to have a chance of meeting our financial obligations to be able to pay off the farm. And yeah, I'm scared because we've put so much work into it, and we're only just beginning, and we want this to be here for our family in the future. So, I'm working on this stuff, and I haven't been working as much off the farm with as a farmhand or anything recently, just because it's that point of the year where there isn't a ton to be doing. I mean, I could be, but there's also so much here that we need to get done to even have a hope of starting to get the farm businesses running, which won't be going until next year, and we've got to be able to make that gap. So and that definitely kills your productivity, and you need to be aware of it. I'm very aware of how my stress affects me, and I start kind of dawdling and I start getting distracted. I'm sure you saw it in some of the hyperlapses yesterday where I get a bit done and then I'm just standing around looking at stuff and thinking about it and trying to figure out how to go. And you know, that's how mine presents itself, right? Like I start to dawdle and making decisions gets a little bit more difficult for me. So, you know, but I've powered through. I've got this section of the fence done. It looks great. I'm happy with how it is. And then, you know, I knew what was happening. So I'm like, well, just get the simple stuff that I know needs to still be done, get started rolling on that, and then I can continue on with the harder work. And so, you know, I did that. I patched up all the other holes in the other little spots out here, got those taken care of, and then rolled right back to here. Realized that my battery was almost dead, so I couldn't film anything, which is one reason why I delayed building the gate, because there's a trick that I want to try that I've learned about carpentry here. That's, you know, any skilled carpenter probably already knows, but for those of you who are like me and fairly green at it, it might be helpful to know for the future. Because I had to source the wood that I'm going to use to make make my gate here, and I've got two different sizes of wood, but I want to have, you know, mitered solid corners that look nice, that join together properly. So I've got a trick that I want to try to get that done. Hopefully I can do it, and hopefully it'll look good. And I wanted to share that with you. So, well, when my camera's running out of battery, I can't show it to you. So I stopped filming yesterday. Anyway, so I did fix up some things here just to make it work better, and I'll take you in and I'll show that to you now. So anyway, here's that section right by the chicken door on the barn here. So I've boarded all of that up. It's, you know, it's solid up probably about 5 feet, and then we just put chicken mesh in here so that they can't get out. Now on this side, you know, I've got this. I was checking, you know, whether these were straight or not yesterday. They are, and getting my measurements for my boards here to build the gate with. But this side, because of the slant of the ground here, well, you can see just how far out that is. So this board here for the edge of the gate is straight. It's standing straight up. But the panel goes down the hill here. So I know it's hard on video to see what the slope is, but, well, you can kind of see the angle there. So, you know, when I cut my boards to the narrowest part of the gate. And so once I had those down at the bottom, it's pretty close and good where I'd want it for the gate. But at the top, there was probably about 4 inches of space there. I'm like, well, I can't really span that with a gate, and that's going to make problems latching and everything. So I just, you know, found some scrap pieces of wood to support it better and leaned this one out so that it's as close to straight as I could make with what I had. I think it's actually pretty bang on to being plumb there. And so now I'm going to cut these. These are going to be the outer frame of the gate, and I'm probably going to have to put a board through the middle, just because, again, I'm working with, you know, 3-foot chicken mesh there. So I'm going to have 2 pieces going across to kind of close it up. So yeah, I'm going to get these boards up on the table and just show you how I'm going to go about trying to make the mitered edges kind of match up and be nice and flush in the corner. So here we go. All right, so what I have here from my scrunch boards, so for the vertical boards, I've got these 8-inch by 2x8 old fence boards basically, and then for the horizontals, I've got these 2x6s. This is actually left over from when we were in the rental house building the chicken coop and all the projects we were planning there. This is some of the stuff that was left over from that. So anyway, I wanted the really thick one for the verticals because I've got big beefy hinges, and I wanted to have as much space to join them on and get a solid connection as I could. You can see that there, so that will give it a good connection. And although the 2x6s would work, I don't have enough of it. So I want it nice, beefy, and strong on the spine side. So that's the length of wood I had. I could cut it and get what I needed for a 6-foot tall gate. But when you've got 2 different boards like this and you want to miter them to 90 degrees, Well, it's easy enough if you've got two 2x6s, right? Because then it's just 45-degree cuts, right? It's just a simple miter to get your 90-degree corner. But when this one is wider than this one, then you're going to end up, and you cut them to 45 degrees, they're going to end up being off. Like your corner isn't going to match up cleanly. So how do you do that? And a trick I learned actually just recently, because I haven't done much with miters before that worked ideally. So, but I learned it's just a dead reckoning fashion here, where you figure out what your angle needs to be to match up to the width of the board you're using. And basically what you do is you line up one board on the end of the other and you mark the width. So now I've got a 6-inch width there. Now to get my cut, I'm going to go from the edge of that line down to the corner. If I can hold it steady without it wiggling and get a good line here. And now I cut off that, and that will match up with what I do here. Now for this one, it's the same thing, only the opposite. You take your bigger board and put it on your smaller board and do the same thing. So I want to line this up with the bottom, get it nice and square, and mark it. And now, you see this is a much different angle. So I want to get up to the corner here, down to the corner there, and mark that. I can definitely do that better. And then that gets cut off. So if I've done this right, when I do this cut and this cut, I should be able to lay these together and they should match. This inner corner here should match up. So I'm going to cut it and let's see if it works. There's one. Always make sure, especially when you're doing fine cuts, that you secure your board so that it's not going to shift and slide off on you. Now let's see if those match up. So just one little thing I wanted to mention. If you saw, I started and then recut this one. And I think that's just because of the angle, as I'm trying to keep out of the way of the camera here, so I wasn't quite on my drawn line. And then another thing to keep out for, especially with older wood, is this corner didn't quite cut. Like the saw came in and then it just broke off. So it's always handy to keep a handsaw around to clean up little things like that. It'll just take a second here. To just get it so that it's relatively close to being flush. Now let's line these up and see how they work. Okay, so I've got my 6-inch my 8-inch boards cut. I'm hoping these are going to be a nice tightish fit. And look at that. Look at that. We're going corner to almost corner, almost perfect. Which, considering I'm doing this with, you know, just a circular saw on the job site, not using an actual miter saw, I think that's pretty damn good. That's very close, and once I get it screwed together, it's going to look fantastic. All right, I'm going to mark up the rest of the boards and do the rest of the cuts, and we'll get this bad boy put together. Tell me what you think down below. All right, there you go. We've got it all closed up. The gate is hung, it latches, it mostly swings, but most importantly, it closes up the last of the chicken yard. So I've put some mesh up top as well, because the top of the gate is a thing, even though it's, you know, sitting around 6 feet high, chickens can still jump up there. So I wanted to mesh it up just to make sure that we're not having any unwanted escapees. So let me just give you a look at what we've done here. So on top of the wood and everything I'd done with the mesh there, we now have a gate. Now it's not entirely chicken proof yet, because of course the landscape here is pretty rugged and rough, so I need to level that out, and then we'll put down a board or something to kind of close up the gap. But with the difference in height and everything, anything I do right now is going to be temporary at best. Now also, speaking of the landscape, so I've got latch here, but the gate hits ground right about there. So again, I've got to come out here with a shovel and fix that up. But other than that, she swings, she stops, and it's also weighted so that naturally its inclination is to close. So it would actually swing to about here, so that it's more in line, like once it bumps up against the post there. So I put the stop there so it doesn't swing too far and open itself again, so that, you know, when I come in here and the gate closes behind me, it doesn't swing open too far and, you know, let chickens out. So with that, I've made this chicken coop, this chicken run, this huge chicken run, about as waterproof as I can. Now, there's one thing you can do to check if a pen is waterproof, and that's let goats into it. So why don't we let in the pigs and the goats and see if they find any holes, and we'll let the chickens in too. All right. Got some pigs.
piggy, 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 go. Go, Blake. Go. Ow.
Come on, let's go up. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's get up and go. Yeah, come on, guys. Come on, guys, let's go. Come on, pigs. Come on, pigs. Come on, pigs. Come on.
Come on, pig. Come on, Dookie.
Come on, pigs.
Dolly. Pig, pig, pig. Pig's coming. One pig's coming. Come on, piggy, pig.
Hey, buddy. You know what this is.
Pig, pig. Go, pig, pig. Come on, pig.
Come on, go.
Come on, piggies.
Pig, 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 pig. Oh, happy pig. In case he didn't show you, here's our finished pasture for all the creatures. Woo.
Come on, goats. Come on. Come on. Come on, Sally. Come on.
Go, goaties.
Come on. You've been out here before. Come on. Come on,
Stop
Sally.
being a chicken.
Did the gate bite you?
Multiple times. Heel.
Well, I think it's goat and pig approved.
Hey, you. Come here. You had something on your eyeball. Finish chewing before you bite. Oh, she's so excited.
Hold
the
on, you're
goats and-
very zoomed in. There we go.
Okay, we ready to start?
Yes.
Okay, so cut this bit out.
No.
So, the goats and pigs are out. Caroline is locked in with the camera,
Oh, you locked me in now.
and and I'm gonna let the chickens out. So let's find out if anything escapes.
Leave me with the velociraptors, I see.
Yep.
I kind of feel like a goat's gonna go in that hole at some point. Hey, Polly. Yeah. Just a minute. Hey, chickens. Come on, ladies.
You left the goats and pigs in here?
Yeah. Hey, ladies.
Mom.
Oh, you guys were all eager to come out.
Mom.
Go, ladies, go. Hey, guineas.
Just wait.
No. Cowboy, what are you doing?
Mom.
I knew it.
Mom.
I knew there was going to be a goat.
Mom.
Yes. There's a goat in there. Cowboy's in there. Chickens, goats.
Mom, can I come in?
Yeah, just a second.
Okay.
Just open the door.
Oh.
Come on.
Who wants to do that? I just want to get this off. So this is
Just come in.
All right, so looks like all the animals are happy. All of them are enjoying their time out here, except for Cowboy, who's still in there eating the last of the chicken food on the floor. Took the feeder and everything out, so he can't get at that, but he's not going to come out until he's eaten all of that because he's a hungry boy.
Just go in there and chase them out that way.
And so anyway, it looks pretty secure, you know.
They'll see each other now. Just look over there. There you go.
We have a bit of drama going on
Oh, I were gone forever.
with the guineas, as one came right out and the white one stayed in with the goat.
Spot, there you are, Spot.
They've been named Lizzie and Spot. We don't know if they're actually boy and girl, but they might be. Anyway, they seem to have found themselves. Yeah, we know at least one is a girl, but they could be two.
Yep.
If they're both boys, they probably would have been fighting by now. Anyway. They are reunited and happy. My pen is closed up. I am happy.
Nothing's escaped yet.
The chickens are out. They are happy. The goats and pigs are loving the time out in the grass. So now we can focus on getting the rest of the pens done with an electrical wire so we can let the goats and pigs out everywhere in our corral system. And that's our next project, so be sure to tune in and check it out as we work on that and get it done. Anyway, thanks for spending your time with me today. Again, let me know down below, what would you like to see in here? Is there anything you'd want to build for the chickens or anything like that? If it's a good idea, we'll do it. So let us know down below. And be sure to like and subscribe, catch all our content. We got a lot more fun stuff coming up, and we really appreciate the support. So,
Sorry, I have something in my shirt.
Sorry, I'm trying to pet you.
oh. Anyway, thanks for spending your time with me today, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye! Are you kidding me? I can't catch a chicken.